go. Welcome back, everyone, to 5-9 Gaming. It is that time once again, another episode of the Dokkan Battle Podcast. So we are here with episode 55, Legendary Rest Period. Because, yeah, both versions, not a lot of crazy things have been going on this week since the last episode, but both versions are due to get an LR banner pretty soon, so tried to work that into the title somewhere, but as always, I am your host, the Masked Ningen, and I am not alone. I'm joined by some very special guests. So say hello to the LR King himself, DaTruth.
Ohio, 5-9 gamers.
Love that energy. And we also have the homie himself, Goresh.
What's up? I'm excited to talk about all the really exciting things going on.
I know, so we got a long list for this week. And then also joining us, we have my fellow global main over here, DBZBlaze. How's it going, my dude?
Yo, what's up, everyone? Glad to be back on.
So yeah, very, very exciting week. The state of the landscape of the game has changed so much in the 7 days since the previous episode. Callers Easy A went live on Global, and I think that's basically it. So, jumping into the first topic I have listed here. Now, obviously, Truth and Goresh were unable to join us last week. So, I wanted to start off by just having a brief recap of one of the topics from last week and just get your guys' opinions on the new units that released on JP. Obviously, the Fusing, Kale and Caulifla, the side banner unit, Kabe, and all of the Universe 6 Easy A's that we got. So, Truth, let's start off with you. I'm sure by now you've had a good chance to use all of those units. What are your thoughts on the new JP stuff?
I think Kale and Caulifla are very good. Their leader skill is probably one of the better ones in the game. The Bond of Friendship category is ridiculous. Rapid Growth has got some monsters like Super Vegeta, Gohan and Krillin, Tech Ultimate Gohan. They're basically just adding to their category, which is just nuts. Link Set is one of the best in the game as well. They link up with like every good unit, which is really good. And deep into events, they're very strong as well. Early on, they're not as impressive as I think a lot of people want them to be. Their damage is pretty bad. Honestly, their damage is not the greatest most of the time. You have to get 6 orbs with Kefla for her damage to be really impressive. But overall, I'd say the unit is very good. I definitely think that they're better than a couple of Dokkan Fest exclusives this year, I think. I would not call them the worst. I think I leave that for Trunks and Goten.
Ooh.
Yep.
Goresh, what are your thoughts? So obviously, as a global player, we're going to have to wait a while to see them. Are they a unit that you would be excited to wait for to come to global, or what are your initial thoughts on them with what you've seen so far?
Well, even like just putting their kit aside, like just them as characters, I'm really not that excited for them. I never really liked the Universe 6 Girl Saiyans that much. So I'm not really that excited for them just in terms of who they are as characters. In terms of like how good they are and like based off of their kits and their links and stuff like that, they're good. I don't think they're anything that you need to like save up for specifically, but they're on a lot of teams, which is where I think a lot of their worth comes from, right? You just throw them on a bunch of teams, they link up pretty decently, so they're a good filler option for a lot of those teams, but other than that, I don't really see them being used that often.
Okay, and then of course one of the big meme subjects from last week was people couldn't wait to start dumping on the Int Kabe unit. So Truth, I'm sure you've used him a fair bit now as well. What are your thoughts on Int Kabe, especially compared to some of the other side banner units we've been seeing lately?
So I definitely do understand the frustration with him. It's definitely way overblown though, because like he's better than Tech Goten, he's better than Tech Krillin, he's better than Tech Piccolo. Like he's better than a bunch of these banner units, but he's just not like Frieza or Gohan and Goten or one of them or Garlic Jr. Right? They're all better. I would say the one thing with say it again.
Or Tech Piccolo.
I think Kabe's, he's just right there in front of Piccolo. It's close, man. It's close. Tech Piccolo, those 1 million attack stats, they be hitting, man. It's very impressive.
Oh, yeah.
Really impressive, man. But yeah, I would say the hate is overdone for Kabe, but his design is just very weird because it seems like they want you to use him with the girls, but like he's only actually good if Vegeta's on the team. So a lot of these teams, he's not that good on. Like he's not even on Kale and Caulifla's team, right? Like Rapid Growth / Bond of Friendship. because for some reason, Super Saiyan 2 Kabe is on rapid growth, but Super Saiyan 1 isn't, despite the fact that he didn't even know what Super Saiyan was, right, during that fight.
Yeah.
Well, the biggest thing to me is like you really want to use him next to LR Evolution Blue Vegeta, but they only share what 2 links with each other. So I don't.
Because
that's the major problem I see with him. But other than that, I don't think he's that bad. I really don't.
Because Vegeta doesn't have stupid Super Saiyan. It bites us in the ass yet again.
Yeah, I wouldn't even blame Kaba for that. I would blame Vegeta. Vegeta's the reason why Kaba doesn't work well with Vegeta.
I wish Kabe had prepared for battle, though. That's the other thing, right? Like, ugh.
Yeah, comparing him to Tech Piccolo, I guess at least he does have the benefit of being a Saiyan, so he fits into those teams a little bit better. So, and then in terms of the Easy A's, obviously we got Physical Kefla and we got a bunch of the free-to-play units. I know I saw the title of your video, Truth. So in terms of the these non-Dokkan Fest exclusive Easy A's, you would say Kefla is pretty good?
They're all really good, actually. Even like the Int Kale, like if you're running a team without Vegeta, I would run Int Kale over Kabe easy, right? Int Kale's really good. The STR Khalifa is really good. The Tech Kabe is really good, and then Kefla is super good as well. But like, dude, you're comparing Kefla to Sin, Shenron, and Tech Pycon and shit, right? So it's like she dunks all over them.
Hey, technically Mars Saiyan is a non-Dokkan Fest exclusive Easy A. He's pretty good.
No. He's got a no. What I mean by that is because remember he had a real Easy.
Oh
like,
yeah,
his
no,
own
I
medals
see.
And stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas like she's just the secondary Easy of the Kalen Khalifa one. She's good, but she's not like I saw people saying like she's better than Cooler. I mean that's just ridiculous, right? Like, yeah. The thing is that this
Cooler?
Kefla, she can
Physical
be
Cooler.
super good, or she can be pretty mid on any given turn. She's very RNG reliant, very, very much.
Yeah, that's always the downside with the nuking style units. I think that's what we saw when looking at the details for the Easy A's for the Great Apes, was like Raditz has the potential to be really good, but he's a nuking style unit. So if you get a bad orb setup, then he's not good. So,
Well,
So how does,
specifically, yeah,
I
go
was
ahead.
gonna say,
Goresh.
how do you think Physical Kefla compares to like AGL Goten?
Wait, who's going?
I
Okay.
mean, AGL Goten, actually, he's probably better, huh? And the physical
I
Trunks?
don't think so.
Probably, yeah. Actually, I didn't even think of them, but yeah, that's true. They are super good. The thing with Kefla, both Keflas, Tech Kefla and this Kefla, is that you get the 6 orbs for them and they look so impressive, but it's not that easy to do, right? Like it's like 6, especially for the physical one, 6 physical orbs. Good luck, dude. That's not happening that common. And that's the biggest issue is that neither Kefla, they don't do good damage unless you get the 6 orbs for them.
yeah, because even if you have to use Goten or Trunks on a rotation without the other, they're still pretty solid. But obviously they're built around using each other, and both of them seem to be units that are only really at their best on very specific team builds. So.
The reason that they look so much more impressive too is it's written the same way as the GT Dokkan Fest. They get the attack buff on orbs when attacking, which makes it hit the damage is just so high.
Well, the other so the unit has come up already, and I thought we would go to Goresh for that. Why not? Because, you know, being the resident Wicked Bloodline connoisseur. So the Physical Cooler Easy A is now live on Global. We speculated about where he would be, how good he was, based on JP player feedback in last episode, but now he's actually live on Global. So, yeah, Goresh, take it away. Physical Cooler, how good is his Easy A, and how good do you think he is ranked against all the other 120 lead Easy A's?
Yeah, so I haven't had time to use him yet in like the God event or ESBR, but I've used him in normal Super Battle Road and like longer events like in the Dragon Ball History and stuff like that, and he's ridiculous because I remember I did my video on him yesterday, and I brought him into normal Super Battle Road. Obviously, it's not as difficult as Extreme, but there was a turn where I think it was his first turn attacking, and he just like did like 2 5 million attack stats, and then like a normal attack that did like 1 million damage, and he just like cleared the whole field almost. So People are saying, oh yeah, he doesn't look that impressive unless he's stacking up his passive. He's only really good in long events. But I look at those numbers that I just saw, and I'm just like, all right, well, he looks pretty good to me. So I think in terms of where he fits into his teams, you could really put him on a lot of his teams because he links up so well with STR Cooler and also the tech for first form transforming Frieza, who just got his EZA, right? So. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, units like Bojack, Janemba, Cooler's link set is amazing, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's really easy to slide him into a lot of those teams, and it really only takes him like one turn to build up his defense to like a really, really respectable level. Like I think it's as long as you get like 3 hits in with this Cooler, he's gonna be hovering around like 200k defense without support, or close to it. So to me, that's good enough to really be able to slide him into like wherever you want. And in long events, it's like, forget it. He's doing like 20 million damage. So, yeah, really good. I think for me, I do have him at the #1 spot in the 120% lead EZAs.
Ooh. So you put him above the Super Saiyan 4s.
Yeah, I do.
Blaze, what do you think about that? Compared to, how would you rank Cooler out of the 120 lead EZAs?
Out of the 120, I guess this is kind of like very picky, but because Cooler is really good. I think he kind of surprised me with his defense as well after he super attacks, because I did use him as well. But the only real issue is that if you're trying to use him in the God event, right? I had some trouble finding like a physical leader. And it's not really Cooler's fault, it's more Dokkan's fault, because like you're not gonna bring the transforming Broly into the God event. He just gets you like killed. So I mean, you could always bring Broly, but it's not, I want to use Cooler against type advantage in the God event. But I would say, as far as support, I feel like Super Saiyan 4 Goku has it more than Cooler, I find. But it's just really nitpicking at this point. So because, we don't have a good physical leader, that's 170 for Cooler, I do put him at #2. And also he is someone that is required to stack up. So for me, I think I would put him as #2, but you can talk me into putting him at #1, and I would also agree because his damage once he gets 2-3 super attacks, you're talking to like a different animal at that point when he starts ramping up.
Yeah, I think Global definitely had an advantage with the fact that we already had the EZA for the Tech Freezer, and so he has like a perfect person to run him with on some of his teams that are both just super good. I think once Frieza, I forget which form it is he has to get up to, but once he gets Shocking Speed, they have the exact same link set. So
yeah, well, what happens is third form and final form have 7 out of 7.
Yeah,
I believe, and then I think once he goes golden, he loses something.
I think it might be Brutal Beatdown. I think
actually no. Third form is the only one where he has all 7 because he loses Metamorphosis for Prodigies when he goes final form. So yeah,
I hate that too because that works really good with LR Janemba when he comes out, right? I love that. Transforming Frieza and LR Janemba together are insane.
Yeah. But yeah, that rotation of Tech Frieza and the physical Cooler, like you take that rotation into a long event and you will not lose. So.
Yep. Yeah, getting to see them big numbers straight away from Cooler, having such a perfect link partner to go with, he's very good. So, Truth, since the other two put in their 2 cents, what are your thoughts then for Cooler in terms of the 120 lead EZA rankings? Is he #1 or is it Goku? What do you think?
I just had a thought of poor transforming Goku, man. He just has always been overshadowed by that. I've always felt that Frieza was better, right? On release, he was better. Now the EZA, I feel like he's just way better, right? Transforming Frieza.
Yeah.
And then for the 120% lead EZAs, I'd probably go like Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Cooler. I mean, Vegeta's somewhere in there, right? I kind of combo him with Goku, even though Goku's the better version, right?
Yeah.
Broly's
like
in there
Angel,
too, right?
Yeah.
He's in there. He's just #10.
He's pretty. Yeah, he's pretty good. Angel Super Saiyan 3 Goku is really sick too.
I was gonna say that's the one we still need to get on Global. So how does he compare with like Cooler and Super Saiyan 4 Goku? Should Global players be excited for getting that final 120 EZA?
Yeah, because remember Super Saiyan 3 Goku, he's got a really good link set. He's got Golden Warrior, Saiyan Lineage, Over in a Flash, and Revival. So he works really well in a lot of places. Or like he links up great with Tech Ultimate Gohan, right?
Okay, so that is it for the new units. Like I say, there's not been a huge amount going on in the game in terms of stuff that has released since the last episode, but we do have a few things to look forward to. Obviously, we know that Global is going to be getting the Part 2 LR banner for the Gohan celebration, which is the LR, Goku, and Piccolo. And JP should also get a Part 2 LR banner with their celebration. But of course, at this point, we have no idea what that's going to be. So just to get the plug in here, we did put out a form to you guys to create a fan-made card for the Part 2 LRs. That has been recorded and will be out very soon, so keep an eye out on the channel for that. So I guess we'll start with you, Truth, as the JP player. When it comes to the Part 2 LR for JP, what are your thoughts on what we could see? Because obviously Kefla being the Dokkan Fest, is it going to be strictly Universe 6 related? Is it just going to be anything Universe Survival Saga? What would you like to see as the Part 2 LR?
Okay, so I am not completely convinced that there's going to be a Part 2 LR. I know Turles came basically in this spot last year, but 2 years ago there was not an LR in October, and they dropped God Goku in November. But what I'm hoping is that we don't get an LR here in October, right? Follow me. And then we get LR Evolution Blue Gogeta or some shit like that.
Whoa, heroes.
That's what was so. Again, no LR on JP in October, I think, is a good sign. That's what I'm hoping. If I had to pick, though, probably some version of Hit, right? I think now's the perfect time to drop like a Hit or something like that. So
Yeah, God Goku and Hit, so they have no teams. That's good.
yeah.
I was going to say, that's the one that I see a lot of people asking for, but unfortunately...
I've been asking for that for so long, but they would actually be unusable in like 90% of the game. So.
Yeah, it's a shame with the way those joined forces units work out like that sometimes. So Goresh, if you could pick who it would be then for the Part 2 LR, who would you pick?
Well, I would pick them, but I would make them like very specifically really good for like Universe Survival Saga. And like
Rainbow
maybe
Orb
make them
Changer.
similar. I'd make them similar probably to how the LR Universe 7 team works, but like even way better and just for the Universe Survival Saga.
I see. And then Blaze, what are your thoughts for the Part 2 JP LR, if we get one?
If we get one, I think I would keep it simple. I think Hit is gonna be the LR, just to keep it generic. If they actually do have an LR Hit, I would like to see like a counter hit, like a hit that can actually counter with his time scale. I think that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, and maybe it might even introduce, maybe they even might put in like in the nullification mechanic. I think that'd be pretty cool, but who really knows? But I'm just gonna keep it simple and just say it's gonna be Hit because it's all like Universe 6 so far. So I'm gonna go with the LR Hit.
One I did
about this?
see, I think it was
How
our
about
boy...
this?
Gone.
An LR Hit with no defense.
Whoa.
Keep up the trend. Yeah, I did see. I think our boy Minato mentioned it before as well, but it'd be very interesting to see a Champa and Vados LR. It's like a new counterpart for the Beerus and Whis.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
take
so that could be something interesting. But Truth hit onto something definitely very interesting there, because obviously Heroes is a big hot topic at the moment, because obviously the special announcement is going to be coming out soon for the 11th anniversary and all the things that are going on around that. And people are still now like getting hyped for that to come to Dokkan. And I hadn't really thought about that before, but yeah, if we were not to get a Part 2 LR, that could maybe increase the chances of the first ever Heroes LR. So Goresh, I know you know a little bit more about Heroes than some of us. What sort of things are you looking forward to, expecting, any kind of predictions for what we could see from Heroes this year?
I mean, there's like a long list of characters that we could get, right? There's like approximately 700 different types of forms and new characters and stuff we could get. But I feel like they'd probably lean more towards the newer stuff. But that's what we've been saying for the past like 3 years, and they just like never do it. I don't know, man, because like the whole like Masked Crimson Saiyan or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Crimson Masked Saiyan, I think is what the name is. Basically the Masked Goku Black, right? That's what I think they should drop. But I don't know, like him, like if they, I don't know if they're going to do a Dokkan Fest or not. I actually, I don't want to be like negative, but I don't think they will do a Dokkan Fest or an LR. I think it'll just be a normal collaboration banner like we've got in the past 2 years. Because like, what was the reason for them not to just make Vegito a Dokkan Fest? Like, I don't get it. So I feel like because of that, there's some reason behind why they can't do it, and they're probably just going to do another regular collab banner, which I'm okay with, right? But if I had to pick the units, I'd probably just go with some kind of like Gogeta, whether they want to do Evolution Blue Gogeta or not. I'd be okay with that. And then like maybe a transforming masked Crimson Saiyan who like goes from like, I don't know, Super Saiyan to maybe Super Saiyan 3 Rose or whatever they want to do with that. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, because the new stuff definitely seems like it would be the most hype, but I guess it always depends because the Super Saiyan 4s, especially the ones that we saw from last year's collab, those particular Super Saiyan 4 characters were not new in Heroes. They'd been in it for quite a long time, but obviously Super Saiyan 4 is a form that people get hype over, especially for the characters that didn't have it. So even though they were older units, that last year celebration was still quite hype for a lot of people. But I definitely agree. Like, obviously, unsurprising, I'm very hyped about the Masked Goku Black and all of his different forms. So I would love to see that. Truth, what would you like to see from the Heroes celebration this year?
I just think that Evolution Blue Gogeta looks so cool. I just want him bad. Super Saiyan 3 Rose Goku Black would help teams like Super Saiyan 3 and Crota Body and Mind, though. He would be very good for the game itself, yeah.
I think one thing also that like Heroes does that we would never see like outside of a Heroes collab are combination units of different characters that would be impossible to do. Like Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Super Saiyan Blue Goku combo unit would never exist outside of Heroes, right? Or like a Blue Gogeta and Vegito combo unit. Like we would never see them release that outside of a Heroes collab.
Yeah.
So stuff like that I think would be really cool. And the other thing I want to just quickly mention too about Heroes is because they're incorporating global at the same time as JP with this stuff now, can they even release characters that are not in World Mission? Because every single character that we have in the game right now for the Heroes collab units are all in World Mission. So I don't know if they can actually release them if they're not in the game.
It's a weird one because I know before Heroes ever came to global, back when it was JP exclusive, that was always the explanation that we heard from whoever it came from, that it was a rights issue. And then, World Mission came out.
There's a reason we never saw a Heroes collab before World Mission released, right?
And that was down to a licensing issue, is that correct?
Yeah, it's licensing.
Yeah, so then World Mission came out, and so then they did release a bunch of Heroes units. But yeah, it's interesting to know whether that does extend to then the whole of Heroes, or like you said, just specifically World Mission stuff. Because the one thing, like, it's kind of the same thing you said earlier, I don't want to be negative about it, especially because I love Heroes, but last year was obviously the first time that we had Heroes on both Global and JP at the same time, and that was the 10th anniversary of Heroes, so we don't even know 100% that we will get it on Global this year at the same time as JP, so...
It actually, like, if we're getting Gogeta and Janemba and stuff like that next month, it actually feels like it wouldn't be on Global, right? Like,
exactly. It's interesting.
Let's not jinx it now.
Because if they drop Janemba, Gogeta, and the Tanabata banner in November, like,
yeah.
Well,
so that was.
Hold on. Don't forget, we also have the movie stuff coming out in November too.
True.
yeah.
Yeah, so that was another thing on the list to talk about, is obviously what is going on with Global. So for both versions, we have an update that we are getting something related to the movie coming out in November. Obviously, we don't know anything about it at all other than that something is going to come to the game. So what do you guys think that could be? I mean, obviously, it could be anything, but realistically, what would you expect to see from this movie tie-in event?
I think a collection epic battles versus Red Ribbon Army stuff at least would come out, right?
Well, that could be interesting.
Oh, interesting. I was thinking maybe like a raid like the Broly when the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie came out. We can maybe get something like that. A small raid.
Like that.
Or maybe even get like a small introduction to a free-to-play character, who really knows. But I'll be probably more down for the raid because they come with good rewards. So probably something like that.
Yeah, because when Dragon Ball Super had been when the Broly movie had been announced, we obviously got that sort of raid event where you fought against, it was kind of like an Easy A against the in base form Broly, who then obviously did become a farmable free-to-play unit. So do you think we could potentially see something like that with those two new characters that were shown in the trailer? It's a little bit up in the air. Truth, what do you think they're going to do? Because obviously they're not going to give away too much. So what do you think we could see?
I just think it's going to be like a raid easy or something like that, just to promote the movie, not actually really put too much in game, right? Because like that's all.
Yeah.
Like stuff we actually got from the Broly movie was, like when the movie came out. So,
Well, also the way that they worded the announcement was also interesting too, because they're like, "Oh, like the Red Ribbon Army is confirmed to come back in the movie. We're going to be releasing something in November that is tied to the Red Ribbon Army." So they didn't specifically say it would be tied to the movie, just the Red Ribbon Army in general.
True.
So it could again, I think it could just be like either an Infinite Dragon Ball history stage going through like a lot of Red Ribbon Army enemies, or some kind of like collection of epic battles where it's like Red Ribbon Army based or something like that.
Yeah, that would definitely be interesting. Go on, Blaze.
And I'll just say, like, if we also get like maybe a free-to-play player or character, it might introduce the category Red Ribbon Army. I don't know if that would be like a really good category in Dokkan, but it would like fit the theme of that.
I mean, it would be good if they decided to buff, like they actually went into Dragon Ball and brought stuff in there from there.
Yeah, so obviously we know that is coming in November, and then as we've kind of touched on and as Truth said, like we were kind of expecting Heroes in November for Global at least, because we got it last year. Normally that's when it comes out on JP, so you would assume that is going to be the same for this year for JP, but we don't really know what's going on Global at the moment, because obviously we had the tweet from iSeriously recently, which was pretty cryptic, but has led a lot of people to think that Gogeta will be coming as the next main banner. Now, obviously, that sort of bucks the trend for the last couple of years of all of that stuff coming in December. So, yeah, Goresh, what do you think is going on here?
Kawhi's response as well.
Well, I mean, it's just the fact that he said Metamore in Japanese, right? So it's obvious a giveaway. But the question I have is like, okay, so they're just constantly pushing these things back, because at first it was like, all right, so we got the Golden Week in at the same time. So what's going to happen in November? Yeah. All right, we're getting New Year's in November. So what's going to happen in New Year's? Are they just going to keep going through this like process where they're pushing stuff back and back and back, or are we going to be getting a same time celebration as JP in December now?
Interesting. Do you think, Truth, then, the classic subject coming up yet again, do you think this could be another move towards maybe getting the games closer to being synced up now that we're getting this essentially a whole month early?
At this point, I think when we would see something like that is when, like, all of a sudden, like, they're going to celebrate the anniversary on both versions. That's, I think, the thing we would start looking for. Not, like, the game's actually closing in like that, but, like, if it was having the anniversary on both versions, I think is the big one.
If they actually do pull a same time celebration on New Year's for Global and JP, we would literally be celebrating every single major celebration at the same time except for the anniversaries. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's not Golden Week, worldwide download celebration, now New Year's, like that's all of them.
Yeah, because New Year's for JP is normally it's like a non-LR dual Dokkan Fest, isn't it? So it'd be interesting to see, because was it like, I forget now whether it was actually last year or the year before, but we got the Tech LR Gohan at the same time as JP, but obviously we didn't get everything that came out around that at the same time, so it was not quite the same as a joint celebration. But obviously Global has that issue with the kind of big gap in the schedule because of the Golden Week units releasing at the same time as JP, so obviously that gap has to be filled with something else. And if they are going to use the Gogeta celebration, whether or not we also get Heroes in November, then that obviously leaves December very open for something else as well. So do you think we could see Super Vegeta this side of 2022, or is it going to be next year that he comes to Global, do you think?
I think Super Vegeta's coming out in like a few weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he's going to come out before Gogeta. They're going to squeeze him in.
Oh.
There was no LR celebration, was there?
There wasn't, was there?
No, it was the Double Wraith banner. Majin Vegeta ZZ and Double Wraith banner
the
with like
Peppy
Margarita
Girls
in them.
thing.
Yeah, they could easily squeeze that in here. It's not a big deal.
I mean, they could just move the Double Wraith banner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was the Peppy Gals stuff was kind of, in a way, I guess, it was like its own thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be tied into the Super Vegeta celebration specifically. So, because I thought going in, assuming that Gogeta was still going to be December, I assumed that November we could potentially see either Super Vegeta and then Heroes, or Heroes and then Super Vegeta to cover the whole of November. So obviously at the moment it's all very much up in the air. Hopefully we do still get Heroes at the same time, because if Heroes comes to JP in November but not to Global, I'll be very disappointed, especially if we
Wouldn't really
are
make
getting
sense.
some of these new hype units.
Well, that's also a reason why I don't think we're going to be getting like an LR or a Dokkan Fest for Heroes, is because if we're actually getting these at the same time, there's not that much time in the month of November to like squeeze all that in, I don't think.
Because doesn't the Heroes celebration, I believe, wasn't it? It was on at the same time as the Golden Week stuff last year for Global. There was definitely an overlap.
I believe the Golden Week banner, the Exchange Boo and Go Tanks, I think it dropped like the second, third, or fourth of the month or something like that. And then the hero stuff dropped, I think, on like the 16th or something like that.
Yeah, so it was like at least a full week or so that stuff overlapped. So obviously there is the potential for that to happen again.
The problem with the Gogeta celebration specifically is that it comes with Janemba, right? Whereas last year we didn't have a part 2 like new LR banner drop.
Yeah, because the Gogeta celebration is a proper full-on celebration, isn't it? Because it has Janemba is like the part 2 LR. It comes with is there a Dokkan Fest EZA and an LR EZA?
Super Saiyan 3 Goku.
Yeah, I'm just getting to it.
Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and I think was Majin Vegeta part of that? I believe so.
No,
he was part
Majin
of.
Vegeta.
No, he was with
Super
Vegeta.
Yeah, so I think it was just Angel Super Saiyan 3 Goku was EZA.
There was the thing is, both of those celebrations, the Gogeta and the Super Vegeta one, both have 10 EZA units. Great Saiyaman 1 and 2 are with the Gogeta celebration.
Oh yeah, so I've got the Gogeta information up here now with the JP timeline. So obviously we get the Gogeta, the side banner unit, Gotenks, who's very good. There was that free-to-play Army of the Dead Frieza. Then we had EZAs for some of the Hero Extermination units. There's like the Goku Vegeta, GT Super Saiyan 2 Goku and Maju.
Gohan.
Then Super Saiyan 3 EZA for Angel Goku, with the side EZA for Pikkon. And there was new ESBR stages. And then we had Janemba LR and a bunch more EZAs. So yeah, that celebration easily takes up almost a whole month. So
that actually is another topic we could talk about too, because because in part 2 of this celebration, we thought we were going to get the new Super Battle Road stages. So are we about to get those and then again get more during the Gogeta celebration?
Yeah, because
it's just they're going to do a global. It's just going to be every celebration. Where are the SBR stages? That's what it's going to be.
We're starving here, man.
I know.
We're starving.
I know. Because, I think it was it part 1?
Come on. It's a joke for you guys now. Like, all these new units, like, Special Pose Super Battle Road was hard when it came out. Now, like, Ginyu is going to destroy that new thing.
True.
That's how it is, eh? That's how it is to be a global player. It's always good to be a global player.
But yeah, that's definitely a good point, because if we don't get the new Super Battle Road stages with part 2 of this Gohan celebration, if the Gogeta celebration is going to be next, that's supposed to come with more ESBR stages. So would they release those in the opposite order? If we didn't already have the SBR ones, would they switch those out for the normal SBR ones instead of the ESBR? It's
how about they just release the SBR stages when they're supposed to, and this wouldn't be an issue.
Yes, that would be great. But yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, we have no official confirmation on anything for part 2 on Global, other than that we would assume the LR, Piccolo, and Goku are still coming out. I would say that would be at least the only thing we could be certain of for part 2 of this celebration. But other than that, everything else is kind of up in the air at the moment. So it's going to be an interesting time for Global. We get a bit of a taste, I guess, of that JP life of not really knowing exactly what's coming next. So at least we have something to work off of. But yeah, going to be very interesting to see what comes up in the next month or so. So that basically does it for the list of topics that we had to talk about this week. As the title suggests, we're very much in a rest period. So we are going to go ahead and go off to the short break. If you guys leave some questions in the chat, we will come back and go through a few of those to round out the episode. So feel free to leave any of those questions in the chat and we will be right back. Yo, welcome back everybody. We are back from the break and we're going to answer a couple of your questions here. Now, this first one catches my eye because this guy says it is a recurring question and it kind of is for everyone in the community, and we won't have a concrete answer to this, but it is an interesting subject to talk about, which is what the hell is going on with the 50% support units?
They're dead. I mean, here's the dirty little secret is that 6 out of the 10 suck now. So
I mean, the 350 million download celebration would have been the best time to bring them back, because both the int ones were the first release, and they were both Namek Saga units, right?
Mm-hmm.
They could have started bringing them back there, and maybe even Easy Aid them or something to start it off, but they didn't. So I don't know.
because units like Pan, Tien, Cell, they're just not. I just feel like they're just not strong enough. They're not doing enough anymore.
Yeah, the problem is, of course, a lot of people didn't summon on those banners all that much when they were around. So
For good reason.
Well, yeah, exactly. I'm still missing 2 out of the 10, and the ones that I do have, I literally only have the 1 copy. And like you said, some of the ones you listed, especially at 55%, they're just not good enough to use in some of the more difficult content anymore, which is
at the very least, they should all be permanently available in the Blue Coin shop.
Yes. Yeah, something like, because at this point, with the power level that we're seeing from these side banner units, that sure, they're only giving 40% instead of 50, but as units themselves, they're miles ahead of these units. So honestly, at this point, they should just go into the general pool. But yeah, there you go. I thought we'd highlight that one. We still don't know. We'll never know. Maybe they will come back, but it is difficult to say at this point. So... And now the chat has just scrolled out of the way. Right, so we have a question here from It's Jiggy that says, in the 350 million download survey, they asked if players wanted new ways to strengthen characters. What are your guys' speculations for the future for unit upgrades or other ways to train your characters?
I mean, I've been saying this for a long time, but I want them to actually make skill orbs fun and like not boring. So maybe some kind of system that allows you to combine them in some way to give them unique effects and stuff like that. That would be really cool. Because we have so many useless. How many level 1 HP skill orbs do you have? Like, when are you ever going to use those? It doesn't make any sense. Like, why do those exist? Let me use them in some way instead of them just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah, it'd be nice to be able to do something with those bad ones, even if you could like dismantle them into some form of resource that you could then use to like roll for new ones or something like that.
Yeah.
It'd be almost like a gacha coins version for just skill orbs. It'd be interesting, but yeah, it'd be nice to have a way to have something to do with all of those terrible ones, because there's not really a
level 1 gold dot is really good.
Well, I mean, even things like, obviously you can use them on secondary characters, but when you get things like a level 2 additional, and it's like you really want that level 3 gold additional for like your top tier character, so you maybe throw it on like a secondary person. But if there was a way, even if it required you to use multiple other resources or whatever, if there was a way to upgrade that into a level 3, that would definitely be something that would be beneficial. So we have a question here from Lord Chilled that says, do you want to see changes in the meta like 150% monotype leads in order to make less viable characters, i.e. joined forces characters, more usable? Because that is a good point. A lot of them, as we've said, even in this episode, they don't fit on a lot of categories, and mono teams are kind of just not really a thing you run anymore. So, Truth, do you think we'd ever see a return to high-level mono leads kind of meta, or is that well and truly gone now?
Yeah, I think they're kind of settled into what they like. The only thing I really would wish with the leader skills is that summonable LRs would just drop this 130 nonsense. Just make it a 150 minimum. That's what I would like.
Yeah, because
I feel like, 150 to 170, like, yeah, that's okay. It's not a big deal. But like 130 does feel a bit low. It feels like you're hitting weaker. You're not as tanky. Like, you could feel it, I feel like. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like when I'm building my teams, especially for what we would consider the more difficult events, I don't ever want to bring a leader that is lower than 150. So even with some of the really good LRs, it would be kind of nice to have, even if you have them yourself, run one as a friend. So you've got 2 on the team. You're taking that hit of having the lower leader skill. So
for the whole mono thing, like, I would never want to use a mono team when I could just opt to use a team that has all the typings in it, right? So I feel like if they were gonna bring back that in some way, they would have to make it like at least 170 across the board, key 4 or something for the leader skill. Because why would I use a team of 6 AGL units when I could use a team that has AGL, STR, Tech, and like Int on there? Like, it's so much of a hindrance to only have to be forced to use one color.
Yeah, outside of the mono Super Battle Road stages and
Yeah,
Battlefield, there's pretty much no reason to use those. Because I guess that's how the meta has shifted along with the content itself. Because obviously back in the day, we used to have like the Dokkan actual events, which, you know, at one point were reasonably challenging. They would be largely one typing. Whereas obviously now we have all of these longer events where you fight every single typing under the sun. And so having a mono team is not so much of an advantage anymore. But I definitely think we should see an increase in leader skills overall, because we were talking about the other day, even like the AGL Goku and Tech Freezer, obviously both very, very good units, very good EZAs. They bumped their leader skills up to 130. So when are you ever going to use them as a leader outside of something like Battlefield? So definitely would be nice to see higher leads. Just to ask you guys, this is kind of a question more from me because it follows on from this same thing, but obviously very soon, with all the 120 leads being done, at least on JP and almost finished on Global, we will be getting the EZAs for STR Rose and Tech Vegito Blue. Now obviously they have the very interesting leader skill where it's 120, but you have to have a unit of each typing on the team. What do you think that we will potentially see from their leader skill after their EZA?
What about like 120 to super and extreme? But then if you have one of each typing in your team, it goes up by 40%.
I feel like it's going to be the same, and they're just going to bump it up to 130.
See, I feel like that's the worst case scenario. But Blaze, what do you think?
It's hard to say. I mean, I think I might have to go to a truth. I was about to say, I think it's gonna be 130, just flat 130 across the board. I would love to see 150, but that's just, I don't know if that's really a possibility.
Yeah, so you guys are thinking more realistically, but I'm in the same camp with Goresh. I think I think they should keep the restriction, one unit of each typing, because, you know, some people will be annoyed that it is a restriction, but it lets you play around with the team building a little bit more. But by keeping that restriction, just put it up to 150, because then you're at least competing with the weaker category leaders, but you're able to run a bunch of units together that you could never run on a category team together. So, and then because that's the thing that I think is a shame. We're getting a lot of EZAs for some of these units where they're becoming super good post EZA, but they don't really do anything with their leader skill to like that you would ever use them as a leader. So I'm definitely excited to see what they do.
The problem with Rose, well, the STR Rose and Tech Vegito specifically, is that Rose is like a 500 times better leader than Vegito is, right?
True.
Right, with support, yeah.
Yeah, he is. I mean, we talked about it before, but like when he first came out, I would have argued he was probably one of the best TURs in the game at that point. So I'm really excited to see what his EZA is going to bring. In fact, our boy Minato is in the chat and he says it could be 150 because the LR Saiyaman 1 and 2 EZA, they're obviously a free-to-play unit. They have that same typing restriction. And post-EZA, their leader skill goes up to 130. So maybe we could see 150. But obviously
yeah, but they don't give key.
They don't give key, though. That is true.
I don't think that people are going to be like summoning for these units for the leader skill at this point, right? That's something that they reserve for new units. Mm-hmm. So I don't even think they're going to like pay attention to it, honestly. When they're like sitting down to design these units, EZAs, they're not even going to like pay attention to the leader skill at all.
Yeah.
What's more interesting to me is how they're going to deal with like STR Ultimate Gohan, right? Where he has 170 HP and defense and 130 HP. Like, what are they going to do with that?
They're going to add like STR as a sub leader and give him like 90% to stats or something.
I was thinking they just bump up the. So it's. I said it's HP and defense 170, attack 130. I felt like they just bumped the 130 to 150.
Yes.
So it'd be 150 for one stat and 170 for the other two.
Or they could add STR and just make it 90%. Boom.
You said 90% is trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
That's
90% rough.
You think they're going to make it higher than that?
No, I think they're just going to buff the 130 stat and call it.
I think if they're at the buff, maybe they might put the 177 because we have LR Goku and Frieza. They are an LR, right? But I mean, it's just 7%.
Because they're the only unit that's ever gotten that.
Right, but it's been like what, 2 years?
I feel like they'll
No,
save.
yeah.
I feel like they'll save that for something big if they are going to do either another 177 or higher than that.
Ultra Instinct Vegito from Dragon Ball Super Superhero. He'll have it.
I mean, I guess in theory, obviously, we do have category leaders that are 170 across the board, so they could even bump that 130 up to 170 and make him the definitive go-to Hybrid Saiyans leader. But I guess that's something that we will have to wait and see. So. But there you go. We are getting close to the 4-hour mark here. So that is going to be it from us for episode 55 of the Dokkan Battle Podcast. I want to say a big thank you to the guests, Truth, Goresh, DBZBlaze. Shout out to all of you guys for coming out for this episode. If you are coming in late or you missed any of the episode, obviously it will be up on the YouTube channel tomorrow. So make sure you are subscribed over on 59 Mobile and make sure you are following us on Twitter so you can stay up to date with all of these things as they go live. So from me, the Masked Ningen, that is going to be it from all of us at 59 Gaming. See you all again very soon. Peace out.